ready to let it go. And the Canes jump out to an early lead on a Category 5. It's 1-0 Carolina. Canes will clear this one out. Carried in by Martinook. Martinook's got Staal out in front. Hischier gets in the way. Now he'll lose the puck. Stankoven with a good. He scores! Martinook will get this one deep. And it's Stankoven. He scores! A power play goal for Logan Stankoven. His second of the period puts the Canes up 3-0. Now out in front, a chance by Dumoulin. What a save! Mr. Andersen keeps it out twice.
The first save was brilliant. The second save was brilliant in caps with the shaft of his stick.
It's Mr. Andersen. First on Dumoulin, then on Meyer. Enters the matrix.
Part of me thought that Trip Tracy should have said brillianter, which I'm not sure is a word or not, but it would have fit the occasion since right there might have been the most critical sequence of the game. Yes, I know the Hurricanes had a 3-1 lead at the time, but Devils are starting to push a little bit. We know that Carolina's goaltending has been a question. That would not have been a problem for Freddie, by the way. He played very well. We'll talk about the goal he did allow throughout the course of our conversation here. But that save there kept the game 3-1 Carolina and gave them the breathing room where you weren't feeling the pressure of the scoreboard from a Jersey team that, while I don't think is as good as Carolina, if you get them in a one-goal game, now everything is on the table. Hi, everyone. It's the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold. We are brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do an amazing job. You should check them out. Boy, great way to start off the playoffs. Looking very Carolina Hurricanes-y for 60 minutes against the New Jersey Devils. Sheldon Keefe said they were overwhelmed in the second period. And they were. Hated to give up that goal late. Not only was it a late goal, we'll talk about the sequence that led not to the goal, but that led to the 4-on-4. But you hate to give up a goal late because then you go into the intermission lacking some momentum, and the Devils went into the locker room feeling we've got a chance here because of that late goal. But Carolina came out in the third period, and I don't think Carolina was playing conservative. I think they were just being more careful than anything else, and they really didn't let the Devils get going early. Carolina did not have a lot of offense the first 7 or 8 minutes. I think the Devils had an 8 of the first 10 shot attempts in the third period went New Jersey's way. So they were the more aggressive team, but it wasn't an onslaught. It wasn't like they took 14 shots, 15 shots in the first 7 minutes. The number was just 8. So it was a pretty manageable number for Carolina. And then the Hurricanes, I thought, started to lean on them a little bit more, and we started having some really screwy things done by the Devils. We are going to talk about that as well. We got a lot of things to do here. First, some hellos. We could call these shout-outs. I like to call them hellos. Bluefield, West Virginia. What up? Greenville, North Carolina. We are huge in Moldova. Really? I mean, I can't ask you to prove it, but that seems crazy. Moldova, good for us. For Linwood, Washington, Fort Worth, Texas, Lancaster, PA. We are, of course, our friend Mikhailov in Adelaide Hills, in Australia, Dublin, Ireland, Richmond, Virginia, Dunn, North Carolina, which is, I believe, right near Dublin, Ireland. We are in Montreal, Johnston County, Elm City. All right, Elm City. Tokyo, from Tokyo to Tarboro. And Tyler in the car on the way home. Thank you very much for giving us some attention here as we talk about a 4-1 win over the New Jersey Devils. We're going to be very careful and very intentional not to put too much emphasis on what this series means with the rest of the series. The Hurricanes played an exceptionally good hockey game today. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be great on Tuesday. And one thing you'll hear a lot of people talk about is win game one, it means this in terms of the percentages of winning a series. None of that stuff matters a lick. Not a lick. Because every game is its own entity. Every game you just don't know how it's going to unfold. You don't know what kind of goaltending you're going to get. You don't know what kind of breaks you're going to get or not get. So I'm not going to make this a big picture. This is what Carolina can do to New Jersey in this series. I will say that the game played out exactly as Rod Brindamore would have drawn it up. Here's what we do know about the Hurricanes and the Devils. The Hurricanes don't have an edge in toughness over a lot of teams. Like if Carolina's playing Florida, we understand that Florida is going to be the more physical team. Tough is a kind of a loaded word, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And I think Carolina pushed New Jersey around today. And that was encouraging to see from this group. Eric Robinson, 8 hits. William Carrier, 5 hits. Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis combined for 9 hits today. Andrei Svechnikov did Svechnikov things. He had just the empty net goal, right? I don't know, Tripp talked about that he deserved the empty net goal. Sure. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I thought Andrei played a really good game. And we'll get to a sequence in the second period in a little bit. But Andrei played the game that he played last year during a long stretch of games where he was not on the score sheet. Maybe he had an assist here and there. And I remember talking to the head coach after games, before games, talking about Andrei, and he goes, I'm not worried. He's generating the chances, but he's playing the right way. Today, the game Andrei Svechnikov played today, now he wasn't one of Carolina's 3 best players. We're not putting star material on his shirt. But the way he played today, he plays that way the rest of the playoffs. He'll get his goals, he'll get his points, but he's making an impact in the game. And that's what you want most for Andrei. And once that stuff starts to become an everyday thing, an every game situation, now all of the other stuff can come back to Andrei, and he can get the confidence of playing well. Sometimes the scoring doesn't matter with him. And that's what we've been talking about here all year long. He doesn't have to be on the score sheet to be impactful. You want him to be, but he doesn't have to be. The way he plays should make a positive impact in the game. And he did today. That line was excellent. Here's the funny thing. That line, specifically Jesperi Kotkaniemi, got murdered in the faceoff circle. Kotkaniemi won 3 out of 15 draws. And that line was arguably Carolina's best of the night. I mean, best laid plans, right? You want to win the faceoff, so you've got the puck. Well, that line didn't win any faceoffs, but they also didn't give up squadouche. And I just used squadouche. I apologize for that. I shouldn't. There might be kids listening. But that line was really good, and they ended up with a bunch of scoring chances that, as a line, they didn't finish. But, boy, they really did. I thought Taylor Hall was spectacular today. I thought he was great today. And, in fact, for the beginning of the game, Mark Jankowski was sitting in the booth next to me. I felt bad because I thought Jankowski really deserved to be in the lineup today. And we'll get to the lineup choices as we move through this. But Jack Roslovic played a good game. Sometimes you just don't know how it's going to play out. I will, when it comes to lineup choices, pretty much will say, okay, the head coach knows better. I wouldn't be surprised if Jankowski drew in, maybe in the games in New Jersey. We could be looking at a situation like that. I don't know. But I thought Roslovic played a good game today, and I thought he was big. Certainly on the first goal, he was big. So let's go through the goals real quick because I think, again, they are telling. So you get an offensive zone faceoff. You've got the fourth line on the ice. But what is that fourth line? Not that Jack Roslovic fits the bill here. But what is that fourth line? What should they be good at? With Carrier and Robinson being physical. And you've also got a lesser group on there for the Devils. If you put your top line out there, you're going to get a different set of defenders. You're going to get a different set of forwards. So Rod figured, look, I got a scorer in Roslovic, and I'm on the right faceoff circle. I've got Carrier and Robinson. They've both been, over the last several games, causing a whole bunch of problems, and they did today. So let the fourth line stay out there, see what they can do. Roslovic wins the draw. Robinson gets it back to Chatfield. Shot goes through a whole bunch of arms and legs and beats Marstrom 1-0. Building went bananas. So it's a good idea. Roslovic, who has been very good in the faceoff circle, he has never been good in the faceoff circle in the NHL. He has been here as a Hurricane. He wins that draw. Carolina gets a goal out of it. They get nothing else out of the period. Here's another reason why Roslovic is in the lineup today. Power play, second unit. Now, while he didn't enter the zone with the puck, it's one of the things he does do pretty well. But he ends up with a shot from, I would say, below the right faceoff dot, maybe 2 or 3 feet below the right faceoff dot, and he wires it off the inside of the near post. So that's a pretty sharp angle. To hit the inside of the near post, it hits the post and stays out. I don't think it went behind Markstrom. I think it might have gone, it might have been behind him, I'm not sure. But, I mean, a quarter of an inch further to the left, it's 2-0. And Carolina's, they had 3 power plays, and while they weren't all constant action, I thought they had good moments on all 3 power plays. Scored on the third one, but I thought the first 2 also were really good. So you could have been up more than 1-0, and maybe that's a little bit of a, one of those moments where you go, let's not let that impact what happens next, because we've seen it a lot. You come out of the first period. I'm trying to remember the game. Regardless, we've all seen it. You play a really good period, you don't score, and all of a sudden you give one up late. Well, Carolina didn't give up a goal late in the first period. They are, because we have access to these types of numbers, and shouts to Nugget Palooza for providing me with these. The Hurricanes were the worst team in the NHL this year and last year in the last 2 minutes of the first period. Pyotr Kochetkov and Frederik Andersen had the 2 worst save percentages in the last 2 minutes of the first period the last 2 years. Data. Can't argue with numbers, right? Don't argue with math. You never win when you argue with math. But they survived the end of the first period. Actually, Carolina dominated the entirety of the period, so there wasn't anything really to survive the last 2 minutes. We can get to the second period in a minute. And then you come out in the second period, and it's actually as good as Carolina was in the first period, outshooting New Jersey 17-5. The numbers don't look as good. They were way better in the second period. Right off the hop, and Eric Robinson, it's not really a breakaway since he was sort of just lunging for the puck. It wasn't like he was skating it alone and had, he could make a whole bunch of moves. But that was a chance, and there were 2 follow-up tries, and eventually William Carrier just couldn't get back to the puck. But good chance. Kokoniemi had a good chance. Hall to Svechnikov, I think, from behind the net. Yes, Hall to Andrei from behind the net was a great chance. And then you had Martinook skate the puck after, I believe it was Slavin, I think, got the puck to Martinook, and Martinook skates it into the offensive zone. He's trying to get the puck around. He might have been trying to get to Staal in front. Nico Hischier gets a skate on it. Martinook picks the puck back up, gets it to Stankoven, whose shot from the slot just to the left of the goal hit Marstrom and went in 2-0. Then you get a power play goal a little bit later on. Hall with speed down the left across the ice to Stankoven. An unbelievably good wrist shot off the inside of the far post. And there are Devils fans going, weren't we supposed to have the goaltending edge? Now, on that particular goal, I don't really fault Marstrom. I think it's certainly savable. I think we can say that. Good shot, really good shot. Savable. But Marstrom had a problem. Blocker side, anything above the waist. And that was where Carolina was targeting. They were targeting high most of it. But that shot was a great shot. The second goal, yeah, I mean, Marstrom, he got a glove on it. Couldn't save it. There was another sequence right before then where a puck went, it really wasn't that good a shot. Marstrom should have easily gloved it, but it went off the top of his glove and went over him and fell onto the backside. It almost rolled into the net. I think it was Luke Hughes that kept it, who somebody kept it out. I don't know who it was. But he was fighting it. He was fighting pucks elevated. He's 6'6". Shoot high. Shoot high on the tall goalie. But, you know, Carolina takes a 3-0 lead. You don't like the fourth goal because you've got a 3-0 lead, and I think it was one of those that was definitely savable. Was it a good shot by Hischier? Yeah. Was Carolina caught a little bit in transition? Yeah. But let's be honest. It's one that Freddie would like to have. Freddie makes up for it in the third period with some great saves. The save on Dumoulin in tight, and then Meyer, which I'm going to let you hear again. To me, the moment of the game.
Front, a chance by Dumoulin. What a save, Mr. Andersen keeps it out
Twice. The first save was brilliant. The second save was brilliant in caps.
See, I would have gone brillianter, as I said earlier. But he gets the paddle out. Pad save. He's trying to get the pad out. He couldn't get the pad all the way to where Meyer was. And he gets the paddle out, and he keeps the puck out. And it stays 3-1. Decision to make for game 2 in net. I know you'd think you roll with Freddie. Do you? Do you? I'm not so sure. I think it's no better than 50-50 that it's Freddie. It might even be less than that. Not that Freddie had a tough workload. You know you're going to use both goaltenders in this series. You know it. And the truth is that you know you're going to use both. I hope I'm not going to get exposed here for being dumb. I don't think that Rod has a choice but to use both goaltenders in New Jersey. Must. I think you get Kochetkov into this series on Tuesday. Trust that he'll be okay. Maybe take a 2-0 lead up to Prudential Center. Then you get Freddie going again on Friday after another couple of days off. Sunday to Friday. Freddie will still be fine. I like Carolina's chances to win anyway against the Devils. And then you have less than 2 days later because you have another Sunday game. So you play Friday night, and it's a little bit later start Friday night, and you come back early Sunday. Now you have Kochetkov. Now you've rotated. I do not think this is going to be a strict rotation. I think they could rotate the first 4 games in this series, and then you could see Andersen in game 5 back here. And regardless, if there is a game 6, Andersen again, unless Kochetkov is lights out. I've never thought it's going to be a straight rotation, but I'm positive that Rod's going to use both goaltenders in the playoffs. I thought the decision to start Freddie, despite of my workshopping hey, you start Kochetkov, maybe you get Freddie fired up. Freddie doesn't need to be fired up. Apparently, he's really good. What was the stat they flashed on FanDuel today? Second best game 1 goaltender in NHL history? Save percentage of about, was it 937 in game ones? I'm going to have to go back and look at that. Now, then I would have to go, how does he look in game twos? But he was very good today. The goal probably should have stopped. But everything else he did after that, yeah, that was Freddie's A game today. Love to see it. All right, I want to talk a little bit about the Dirt Devils. So, Timo Meier takes a penalty in the first period. Carolina did not score in this power play, where they send him off for tripping. I mean, technically, that is what he did to Jackson Blake. He tripped him. But if you go back, and I don't know how you would do this. I don't know that there are highlights for this. But you go back and you look at it. And we can say it's playoff hockey. But the puck is long away. It's in front of the Devils bench. It's actually in between the benches. It might have been right at center ice for all I know. Just trying to go back and, again, look at it in my own mind. And Meier, well after the puck is gone, is going to deliver a hit right along the wall. Blake sees him, starts to get out of the way, and Meier reaches out his leg. Reaches out his right leg and trips Blake. Now, technically, that's tripping. But what it really is freaking dirty. Because the puck is nowhere near. And if he's just delivering a check, hey, A, that would be interference, not tripping. But now he's reaching out his leg. What is the point here, Timo? So he should have also gotten an extra minor, I thought, in the tussle with Gostisbehere. And there are two things that happened here. One, he slashes Gostisbehere first. And, boys will be boys. They start slashing each other back. But he threw the first slash. And then, after it, Meier cross-checks Gostisbehere. And they even it up. Each side got 2 minutes. It was already 3-0 Carolina. That, to me, is a scoreboard penalty. Because, Carolina's having their way with the Devils. So we'll give the Devils... we'll just even it out. But it shouldn't have been even. The Devils should have gotten the extra 2 minutes, but that's not what happened. All right, we'll just set that aside for a second. On the exact same play, Andrei Svechnikov, beautifully legal check to Dougie Hamilton. Hamilton didn't like being checked, so his response is to whack Svechnikov with a stick. I don't know if it was across the arms or whatever, the pants, whatever. But he slashes Andrei. No, right in front of the referee, no call. And then Andrei laughs. Dougie skates away and then skates back and cross-checks him. There's nothing there in the cross-check. But you just let the slash go. So I guess Dougie was like, well, they're not going to whistle me for that. I can do this. And it's what made the allowing it to be 4-on-4 so bad to me. Because if anything, the Hurricanes should have gotten a power play with Meier and Gostisbehere. They end up going 4-on-4. That leads to the Nico Hischier goal. Shouldn't have been, but whatever. So that's Timo Meier, who earlier in the game was was it Aho he tried to elbow? Might have been Aho, not sure, who he tried to go up high on, missed. Now, let's get to Jacob Marstrom. I don't know what possessed Jacob Marstrom to try and slash Andrei Svechnikov. I don't know what it was. But he swung his goalie stick at Andrei and hit Cody Glass, who plays for the Devils. Now, I don't understand. I guess it's allowed because it's your own team. You can slash your own teammate. I mean, that could have done... we have no idea if Cody Glass is okay or not. I don't know if he came back and played the game. I'll check the shift chart in a minute, but that was a super dangerous play. No, Cody Glass was done. Cody Glass did not come back in the game. He didn't finish the game. So Glass didn't finish the game. By the way, Daniel Sprong also had a dirty play with a check into the door by the benches. So you had Marstrom swinging his goalie stick. He actually swung it again at Andrei after he hit his own teammate and missed. So this is what the Devils are going to do, huh? Okay. All right. Carolina's just going to have to be ready for it. Make them pay on the power play. Speaking of special teams, Canes 1 for 3 on the power play. Very good. Penalty kill, especially the one in the third period. Absolutely spectacular. That's the way you got to do it. By the way, Brendan Dillon did not play from the middle of the second period on. Looked like he had a concussion. That was just got entangled with William Carrier. They both went to the ice. I guess his head at the ice. I don't know. I hope he's okay. Brendan Dillon's a good player. You like to see good players play. But Dillon is a big part of their defense and really protects Dougie Hamilton. And Hamilton needs protection because the Dougie Hamilton I saw today doesn't mean that's the Dougie Hamilton we're going to see on Tuesday or Friday in New Jersey or Sunday in New Jersey. The Dougie Hamilton I saw today, you want to play against. That's the Dougie Hamilton you want to play against. He was like offended when you hit him. He didn't want anybody to come near him, which I get. But man, we saw this. We saw this the first year in the playoffs. You can get Dougie off his game. Be physical with him. You can get him off his game. You can get him thinking about other things. And he was tonight. That's what I want to see from Carolina again and again and again and again. Be physical. I thought in a game one, really, really good performance. It looked the way it's supposed to look. Real quick to the lineup choices between Roslovic and Jankowski. Rod told me yesterday, my pregame interview with Rod we did yesterday. Came to practice, and we actually had a conversation after and I'll fill you in a little bit on that because I think it gives you some insight as to why decisions are made. But he had a lot to balance with Roslovic versus Jankowski. I'm sure it hurt to keep Jankowski up here with us because he has 8 goals in 19 games with the Hurricanes. He's been good killing penalties when Jordan Stahl's not there. He's been pretty good in the faceoff circle. He's been good. Obviously, he's got a scoring touch around the net. But his thought process with why he wanted to go with Roslovic is that there's a lot of different factors. Carolina's got a lot of guys who can kill penalties, right? We understand that it's not just Staal and Martinook and Aho and Jarvis. You can use Robinson in that situation. You could use Carrier probably in that situation as well. So, heck, you could probably use Stankoven, although a little guy, who knows. They have options to kill penalties. Not that you don't want to have Jankowski at your disposal for that. But they can do it. They don't have a lot of right-handed faceoff guys. And they also don't have a lot of 20-goal scorers. And while Roslovic did a lion's share of that in the beginning of the season, there's nothing that says that Roslovic can't score goals again. And he is more of a goal scorer than Jankowski. So I get why he used Roslovic. I will say also, and I thought Jack played a really good game, by the way. So this is not, Jack could have had a couple of other goals. He didn't have any goals, but he could have had a couple of goals today. But I get why he used Roslovic. I do think, however, that I will not be surprised, maybe not in game 2, but in game 3 and game 4 up in Jersey, I could see Jankowski drawn back in. I could. All right, now, so that's what Rod told me, during our conversation. And he knew it was going to be tough. He didn't want to sit either guy. There also might have been a nod to the fact that Roslovic has played the entire season. And Jankowski got here 19 games ago. And that's not a say, well, you don't deserve it. But, and I know I talked to Walt Ruff in the first intermission. He thought Eric Robinson might come out of the game. I don't see how you take Eric out. I think Eric's been too good all year long to take out of the lineup. But I would understand if he did. You could play Roslovic and Jankowski because one or the other can play the wing. But I think Robinson will stay in. Too fast, can play too physical, was physical today. 8 hits today. I don't think that guy's coming out of the lineup. Plus, you're going to need 14 forwards, I promise you. You go far in the playoffs, you're going to need all your forwards. And now, real quick, we talked briefly about everybody's favorite topic, Alexander Nikishin. And here's what Rod told me. Man, we got to get more than one practice out of this guy before we can ever even think about putting him on the ice if we have the option, if we have a choice. And right now, they don't have to play him because somebody else is hurt. I'm not even sure if Shane Gostisbehere left this game today injured. I'm not even sure that Alexander Nikishin would be the guy to draw in. It might be Riley Stillman in game for the first time. They have had one practice. They will not have another practice. Maybe they'll practice Tuesday, but not Tuesday, Thursday before flying up to New Jersey for Friday's game. Maybe. We'll see what kind of practice it is. I'm pretty sure they won't practice Wednesday. If they do, it'll be an optional skate. It'll be just kind of like a morning skate. So let's just say they get one practice in. There's a communication problem. He doesn't know the system yet. Yeah, the SKA system was similar, but it's not the same. Do we want to miss the assignment? And this is what Rod was telling me. Do you want to miss the assignment to cost you a goal that cost you a game? Because there is a communication problem. So it's going to take a little bit of time. Look, if they get an injury a couple of games in or whatever, and he's had some practices to play and he's more attuned to what they're trying to do, then I can see him drawn in. But I don't think you'll see him unless Rod doesn't have another option. And I'm not saying that Riley Stillman is a real option. Part of me thinks that if there's an injury, you'll see him roll the dice with Nikishin, and if he has to limit his minutes and limit his exposure, he'd do it. Because I'm not sure Riley Stillman, not that I'm not sure, I'm positive that Riley Stillman isn't the answer. Let me talk about a defensive pair that I thought was great today. And then we're going to have to wrap this up. Orlov and Chatfield were great. By the way, I thought Burns and Slavin were also very good, but I thought Slavin was next level. We saw the full Jacob today. I was going to give him one of our 3 stars on the post-game show. I put it out on Twitter. I gave Slavin one of the 3 stars. I thought Jacob was just amazing today. But Orlov and Chatfield as a group, yes, they had the goal. They were a +5. They had 4 hits, all by Orlov. 3 block shots, I think 2 by Chatfield, 1 by Orlov. They were just awesome. Chatfield using his speed. I thought Orlov played a very smart game today. And we talked about raising your level in the playoffs, talked about it at the end of the season. And I think Orlov has put together a nice, good, long stretch of very solid play. This is the Orlov and Chatfield we saw in the playoffs last year. Today, this was the tandem we saw in the playoffs last year. They were Carolina's best defensive pair in the playoffs last year. Is it going to happen again this year? I don't know. One game. It was one game. All right, so as we say goodbye, I said this before, I won't be surprised. In fact, I would start Kochetkov in game 2, come back with Freddie in game 3, Kochetkov in game 4, see where we are from there. But Andersen was so solid today. The one goal, probably wants back, stops the, I'm not saying it ended, it certainly ended the shutout bid. It didn't eliminate a shutout because he could have given up a goal in the third period. He was good in the third period, though. But I thought Freddie was really good. And that save, again, the one we played again, the save, not so much on Dumoulin, although that was a good save. The save on Meyer, the dirty player. I was really more upset about what he tried to do to Jackson Blake than the situation with Shane Goss's pair. Set that aside. Devils didn't put their best foot forward. We'll get a better Devils team on Tuesday in Game 2, 6 o'clock if you're driving, which means that for us, by the time we get to the podcast, normally it's about 10:30, 10:40. Should be about 9:30 or 9:40 as we get to the podcast. This is the Canes Corner podcast. See if was there anything else I needed to mention? We talked about the captain's line being good. Jesperi Kotkaniemi's line being excellent. How physical Carolina was. Freddie Andersen, Roslovic, and Jankovic. The decision to make there. Canes, what happens when they win Game 1? I don't know. They play Game 2. That's as far as I will take those types of things. You know me better than that. One quick thing about the Aho Jarvis Blake line. I thought they were very good. They weren't amazing. I thought they were very good. I love the physicality from Aho and Jarvis. Jackson Blake mismanaged the puck a couple of times tonight, and it nearly cost them. It didn't necessarily generate grade A scoring chances for New Jersey, but those were made available to them. Carolina was just able to shut them down. But Jackson will have to be a little bit better in Game 2 on Tuesday. But he was otherwise good, but I just wanted to point that out. There were a couple, if you watch the game, you go, ooh, no, don't do that. Anyway, we got to go. AluminumCompany.com, Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Appreciate them. Appreciate you. We'll see you. Rate, subscribe, like, do whatever you need to do. Tell your friends. Write us a little note. That would be cool. Wherever you get your podcast, do that. We're always here live on YouTube following the games, and we'll do it again on Tuesday night after the Canes and Devils Game 2 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Don't know what's going on in the other game right now, although that game just started in between Toronto and Ottawa. One more thing. My prediction was Carolina would win this series and win the next one, whether it's Montreal or Washington. But, man, that Florida series, I think the winner of that would be my pick to win the Stanley Cup. But I can't wait to be proven wrong. Canes play like they did tonight, they're going to have a good chance. They out-goalied New Jersey. And with that said, I'll see everybody Tuesday here on the Canes Corner podcast. Thank you very much.